July 5th, 2013, Lac-Mégantic, Quebec. A small lakeside town of 6,000 people tucked into the hills of the eastern townships. Friday night. The bars on Rue Frontenac are glowing. People are laughing, drinking, watching the sunset bleed into the lake. The Music Cafe is packed shoulder to shoulder. Live music, cold beer, the kind of summer night you remember forever. Nobody in that bar knows that 11 miles away, on a shallow grade outside the village of Nantes, a locomotive is parked for the night. Alone.
No crew on board. Just one engineer, Tom Harding, who's already checked into his hotel room. He set 7 handbrakes on a 72-car train hauling 7.7 million liters of Bakken crude oil.
His company told him that was enough. His company was Montreal, Maine and Atlantic Railway, MMA. And MMA had one business philosophy that mattered more than any other: cut costs. Every cost. At any cost. They lobbied the government to let them run trains with a single engineer instead of 2. They got approval. They slashed maintenance budgets. They ran locomotives with known mechanical issues. And on the night of July 5th, one of those known issues was a small oil leak in the lead locomotive's engine. The very engine whose turbocharger was keeping the air brake system pressurized. The engine Tom Harding left running on purpose. Because without it, the air brakes would slowly, silently bleed out.
And the handbrakes, those 7 handbrakes, would be the only thing standing between that train and gravity. At 11:45 p.m., a local resident called 911. There was smoke coming from the parked locomotive. Not volunteer fire department arrived. They did exactly what you'd expect. They contacted MMA's rail traffic controller. The controller told them to shut the engine down to stop the fire. They did. The fire was out. Everyone went home. And for the next hour, in total silence, in total darkness, the air pressure in the brake lines dropped. Pound by pound, inch by inch, the train began to move. Nobody saw it. Nobody heard it. 72 cars of crude oil, unmanned, uncontrolled, rolling downhill at walking speed, then jogging speed, then sprinting. By the time it hit the curve at the edge of Lac-Mégantic's downtown, it was doing 65 miles per hour.
The rail couldn't hold it. The first cars buckled, then jackknifed, then ruptured. And 6 million liters of crude oil ignited in a fireball that rose 300 feet into the sky. The Music Cafe, the one full of people laughing 10 minutes earlier, was directly in the blast zone. The temperature at the epicenter reached 1,000 degrees Celsius. Hot enough to cremate. Hot enough that some of the 47 victims were never identified by anything but DNA. Hot enough to erase 30 buildings, 40 businesses, and the entire heart of a town that had existed for over 100 years. Gone. In under 30 seconds. And the cost cutting that made it all possible? MMA was saving roughly $500 a day by running one-man crews. $500.
That's the price they put on a second pair of eyes. A second pair of hands to set more handbrakes. A second brain to say, maybe we shouldn't leave 72 tanker cars of explosive crude on a mainline track, on a grade, overnight, with a skeleton crew and a leaking engine. $500 a day. $18,000 a year per route. That's what 47 lives were worth on MMA's spreadsheet. The CEO, Ed Burkhart, showed up days later. He blamed the engineer. He blamed the firefighters. He blamed everyone except the system he built. A system designed to operate on the thinnest possible margin, where a single point of failure wasn't a risk, it was the business model. MMA filed for bankruptcy within weeks. Burkhart was never criminally charged.
And here's the part that should keep you up tonight. Lac-Mégantic wasn't a freak accident. It was an inevitability.
When you design a system where profit is the only metric and safety is treated as overhead, the question isn't if it will fail, it's when. And you're surrounded by those systems right now. The building you're sitting in was built by the lowest bidder. The bridge you drove over this morning was inspected by someone who checks 200 bridges a year. The train that passes through your town at 2 a.m. is held in place by handbrakes set by someone working alone, in the dark, on hour 14 of their shift. Everything around you was built by humans, and humans cut corners. That's not a flaw in the system. That is the system.